All right, Phillip, you're the leader, so lead.
Well, welcome to episode 1. This is our introductory episode for the Albritton Letters Podcast.
David, your head's blocking the Albritton Letters.
Lloyd.
If you could lean over like that.
Lord, do not do stuff like that.
Now we got to edit that whole piece out.
Okay. Welcome to episode 1 of the Albritton Letters Podcast. This is our introductory episode, and we hope to produce more. But our episode today is all about letter writing. Is that right?
That's right. Letter writing.
Letter writing. Now, I have my bullet list of information here. We can, here's you one to look at, Lloyd.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of refer to this one. In thinking about this podcast, I had to come up with a name, some kind of a name, before we decided on the Albritton Letters.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about being that me and you, Lloyd, we're going to be the main host.
Right.
We won't always have Avis here with us. By the way, we have Avis. This is our other brother.
I'm here because they didn't have a babysitter today.
But I was going to call it like the Albritton Chronicles, but you said we couldn't spell that very well. I thought about Floyd and Lloyd.
That would be too hayseed.
Yeah, too hasty.
We didn't want to be quiet.
Phillip and Lloyd talk about stuff or something like that. And so what brought me back around to the Albritton Letters was the thought of a concept that you had some years ago where you were actually writing letters.
Mm-hmm.
What was the impetus for that idea that you had back then?
Well, the idea was that I had always used letters to tell my stories and dissertations and editorials through letters. And so when I started the project, I just called it the Albritton Letters. It didn't mean it necessarily it was a letter, but it was some form of a dissertation.
Where's that clock?
So I called it the Albritton Letters. The clock is right over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have to keep over here looking at Lloyd. The picture of a good Lloyd.
Yeah, I even had some clocks made. Those were expensive too.
I know.
I gave them out.
I need it right here in front of me.
Unfortunately, the battery's out on
So
it.
what was I interrupted you about the time?
How the Albritton Letters got started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started calling it the Albritton Letters. It was originally I didn't even have a copy machine. Avis was in the Marines in camp somewhere, and I would send him the letter, and he would copy it on that old blue stenograph stuff that they used to use.
Mimeograph?
Mimeograph.
And that
Send
smell
me-
to it?
Send me the letters back, and I would put stamps on them and lick and stick and fold them, and that's how I did the original Albritton Letters. And then when the computers came out and all of that and websites, we evolved.
How much does a stamp cost then?
About 3 cents. Not a little bit more maybe, but not as much as they do now.
Well, why is it important to communicate with letters?
Well, we different people have different reasons, but one of my favorite historians, David McCullough, made a point one time that if it were not for the letters and journals of these famous people that he writes about, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, that he got all of his material from the Library of Congress, from these old letters and journals. If it were not for those, we would not really know anything about these famous people. And so we don't write letters too much anymore. We write emails anymore. But the old letters creates history. That's where we get our history from. If you watch these old Civil War shows, I can't remember the guy's name that specializes in those. Ken Burns. It's a series of reading old Civil War letters where soldiers wrote home to mom and daddy.
Okay, I know it's probably not necessary that I repeat it, but in the old days, way in the old days, they were writing with ink and feather quill.
Right.
And then they would write with pencils and ballpoint pens, and people writing letters. That's before typewriters.
Right, yeah. And even typewriters have not been around all that long.
Well, the point I was going to try to make was, is it important, what's more important, the concept of sending someone a communication or the concept of handwriting the letter? Or
What do you mean? Is there a question there?
yeah, like what is it important that that a letter be handwritten so it has the personality of the person writing embedded?
I think it is important. It's not all important. It's not everything. The
Yeah.
message is a lot of it, but I think it is important, and that it's the passing of handwriting is rather sad for me.
It has a historical value, as you can attest with these documentaries. You spoke about the Civil War, and they always, it's the impetus for the story of the documentary. It's a
script,
handwritten
right.
letter.
Yeah.
And now sometimes they have the person to interview, but most of the time not.
Somebody
but
else
they
is
do read the
reading it.
letter.
Yeah.
But the letter is of historical value for future endeavors.
But there is an inherited importance in the simple fact of communicating, whether it's with a typewriter or a word processor or handwritten, the importance of communicating with someone on a personal level.
That is correct.
And that's kind of like what you were aiming for in your update letters with the Albritton Letters originally.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a personal. You didn't just send them out to everybody on your block in every mailbox. You were sending them as a personal update to family and friends.
To be honest with you, I had a pretty long mailing list, and it was just difficult, if not impossible, to write every one of them a letter. They said, "Why don't you ever write me a letter?" So I started doing the multiple copies of the same letter. But I still call it the Albritton Letters. Is this letters? Yeah.
Now, your main medium for writing was a typewriter, and it went copied with a mimeograph, right?
Back in the original days, yeah.
You had a typewriter at home, I guess.
I had a little Royal portable typewriter that I used to write them on. That's correct. Yeah.
Did you upgrade to something else later? Did you?
The computer. When I got a little Tandy 1000 computer from Radio Shack, then I started using word processing. I went from there straight. I never owned an electric typewriter.
So you would type it, and then you would.
Never have.
You ever own an electric typewriter?
I never owned an electric.
You know how they operate, don't you?
I know how they operate. Yeah. I mean, I've worked them in the workplace.
Well, I remember when I was in school back in late 70s, early 80s, I would have to type all my papers. And we had electric typewriters at the library. That's the only way I could.
Right.
Right,
Yeah,
my
they were
favorite.
pretty fanciful.
Pretty
things.
fancy, but they still had, most of them still had the arms. The arms that would flip forward and type, they were electric, but they would.
They did, the carriage moved back and forth.
Right.
Where what you refer to as an electric, they call that a selectric. It had the little ball.
Well, that's
the
the
ball
next one.
moved
That's the
instead
next
of.
one I'm coming to.
Okay.
But they were still electric when they had the arms and the carriage.
Both of those were electric. Yeah.
But then it evolved to the ball, you called it.
That was
little ball.
IBM Select.
Selectric.
Yeah.
That's what they called it. Yeah.
And somehow, that button you pressed for an S, it would send this little message to that ball, and that little ball would spin around to where the S was
Or
to type it.
and bam, pop it on.
Now there were other products that did the same thing, but it did it with a wheel instead of a ball. The IBM was their thing, is the little
Kind of like
ball.
Frigidaire being called a refrigerator.
Yeah.
It's kind of brand.
Right.
That was their brand.
Well, there was another brand that did the same thing that the IBM Selectric did with the ball, but it used a wheel instead, and the little wheel would move about to type the letters.
That was probably Apple did that.
No,
I don't remember ever seeing that. I don't. In fact, that's the first I've ever heard of that.
really.
Yeah, I didn't know they did that.
It was a short-lived process
your word
because
for
it
it.
was problematic in automation.
I got you.
Probably broke a lot.
But they did work for a computer company in San Diego one time. They had a room full of these things that they couldn't sell
Really?
because they just couldn't sell them because they were problematic. But an IBM Selectric, you couldn't keep those. If you see one in the flea market, you should pick it up.
I haven't seen one of those in years.
Yeah, well, they're all broke now. Nobody
They're not
nobody
very
left that
sturdy.
can work on them.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to the old original thought we had about handwriting and the importance of
Correct.
handwriting a letter,
Yeah.
I brought a couple of old letters that I want to read a little excerpt from each one, and you can kind of figure out who wrote these letters as I read through here. But they're old, and I got them out of Mama's stuff when she died. She saved letters. This one was dated March 71.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can find a little section here. Well, Mom, I take it that if you're watching the morning and evening news, you aren't working at the hospital. What's the skinny? Not that I want you to work at all, but if you're determined to work, I think you'd really like that. I was really hoping you'd get the job. What did they tell you? And then move on over to the next page here, and you're talking about a current situation where you
You
giving
just
it
gave
away.
it away.
Yeah, there's a lot of difference between listening to the pitter-patter of rain on your tin top hooch and listening to it through your poncho. There's a lot of immersion foot during the wet season too. Some kind of foot disease. Not only that, but people get blown away out there. About 85% of our casualties are from booby traps. Then there's more accidental discharge casualties than you would believe. We actually kill more of our own people than Charlie does.
Is this classified information you're passing?
No, I think Trump recently declassified it,
Okay.
so it can be read.
Have you figured out yet who wrote this letter? Well, Dad, do you still think Jake is going to be prettier than Belle Stud? Who was Jake and Belle?
That was a couple of horses that Daddy and I shared in those days. Yeah, I went to Vietnam and I bought a horse and left it with Daddy.
I sure would like to see him. You say your Dan can outrun him, huh? They're arguing about horses from the other side of the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
It was important, Phillip.
And meanwhile, Daddy's over here trailer breaking him with a 2x4.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a mare on Little Bit's coat, if it took, that is. So, you remember? You know? Can you
I remember.
You
I
know,
remember.
You remember writing this letter?
As if it was yesterday.
Well,
Yeah, right.
No, I do. Yeah,
this is
I do.
just this. I wanted to read a couple of these. This is just one little sample of the importance of writing a letter.
Mm-hmm.
So Mama held on to this for some 71. She died when 86.
Yeah.
15 years she held on to it, and then I got it out of
Well,
her
I'm sure she had a few years in there too, in Avis's too.
Well, she certainly loved.
I don't think
letters.
Avis had left home by then, but.
She loved letter writing. She loved paper.
Yeah, Mama once said that nothing gave her quite as much pleasure as a smooth writing pen, and a nice, clean, crisp sheet of paper. She just loved to sit down and write. And I think I inherited that from her. I don't know about you guys. But, I love that as well.
Well, the sensitivity of creating something on a blank sheet or a blank canvas, that's the same kind of feeling I get with a blank canvas.
That's correct.
It's artists in all of us that
The,
we may not can draw anything, but we do appreciate a good pen and a piece of paper.
Well, I contend that handwriting is a form of art.
Well, then I'm an artist.
Yeah.
We're all artists.
Some of us are better artists than others, but we're all artists.
second letter, letter number 2. It's dated June 2nd, 1945.
Okay. That would have been Avis.
Dearest darling wife, just a line to let you know that I'm getting along okay. Hope this finds you well. Now talk about classified information. We're going to get to that here in just a second. When you write to me, don't say anything about what I write you in this letter. For your mail as well as mine will be read. We can get passes from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. while we're here, but little good they do me unless I was going AWOL, and I'm not going to do that, for it's bad enough as it is. Honey, if I knew I'd be here as much as a week, I thought you was able to take the ride, I'd say for you to come to New Orleans. I've got to remember that you're not able to take a long ride, and even if you did come, you couldn't contact me in any way. For one is supposed to know I'm here. For no one is supposed to know I'm here. Looks like he scratched through the no. For no one is supposed to know I'm here. Might be gone when you got here anyway.
Oddly enough, that's 1945, that letter is.
Yeah. Honey, you're going to have to look over my letters from now on because they're going to be pretty short and brief. Honey, you just don't know what an awful ride that was coming here by troop train. 3 days and nights of it was with not enough food to keep a cat alive. They have good meals here, so on and so forth. So this was, what did I say? June 1945. I wanted to read that little part about his little boy.
Well, I was saying, but Daddy graduated from high school in 42. So I wonder, I can't remember, do you know what year he went in the Army?
Must have
I mean,
been
the war started in
1945.
41. That was at the end of the war there. He was almost at the end of it. I don't remember what month.
Okay, here it is.
But
He said, this thing can't last always, and someday I'll be coming back to you and a big, nice boy I hope to see. Oh, I hope so. You just try not to worry too much. He's talking about a big, nice boy.
that was Ronnie.
I guess she's pregnant.
Yeah.
When was Ronnie born?
September 1945.
So it was just a few months.
June, July,
2nd.
August, September.
She's
Yeah.
pregnant with Ronnie, our older brother.
And Ronnie was a fat body when he was born. He was a chubby little thing.
Yeah, he was
So cute.
a bouncing baby boy.
I think he was about 20 or 30 pounds. No, I think he was about 10 pounds.
An additional reference to the importance of writing letters.
They go back a long way, don't they?
Yeah,
Letters,
well,
letters do,
like
yeah.
you said, alluded to earlier, historically even the writing of letters from the Civil War and stuff have documented that event
Mhm.
to a large extent.
Well, I think it's a good name that we chose here, the Albritton Letters, especially since
Now, getting to the podcast concept, this is our introductory
Oh, yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
How are we planning to transfer that concept of the letter writing into a podcast medium such as we're doing right now? How can we make that transfer and convey that same idea of the Albritton Letters?
Well, obviously it's by influence, because if the millions of people listening to this podcast would just send one letter to somebody out of the
Or
blue,
better yet, $1.
yeah, just include $1.
Just
Write a letter and put $1.
Just
in it.
send me $1.
No, all seriousness aside, if just one person, how long has it been since you got a letter that somebody just sat down, wrote it out, and stamped it just like that?
Well, I just happened
Can
to...
you remember?
Yes. I just happen to have an old friend who insists that I write him handwritten letters, and he writes me handwritten letters. My friend Al.
Yeah.
So I just got a letter from Al the other day. He handwrites it.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
Well,
and I sat down and I said, I'm going to handwrite this, so I don't have any sympathy for you if you can't read it, because my handwriting is so poor.
well,
He
actually,
wants some handwritten.
it's such an odd thing now. A handwritten letter get more attention than a typewritten letter, because all the promotional mail that clogs up your mailbox is all typed stuff. You tear it up and throw it away immediately. All that stuff. Your handwritten letter separates itself in value.
Now, anything you do with your hands is going to take constant practice, or you lose the skill somewhat.
You lose it. That's right.
So, anytime I sit down and try to write something by hand, it's almost like I can't do it much anymore. I can't make it pretty anymore. I've lost the skill that I had when I had to do it a lot.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I have found that as well. You have to, but it comes back. As I sit down and write my old buddy Al a letter, it kind of comes back where it begins to free flow. You
Yeah,
know.
that eloquence is like riding a bicycle. You have to wake it up and apply it to the pen.
But keep this in mind, and I'm a big advocate. A lot of people aren't, but I happen to be. Of handwriting is just like a fingerprint. Handwriting reflects your personality and character. A lot of things that would be enough for a whole book, but the emotion of who you are comes forth when you write on a piece of paper. Now, when we sit and talk, we could sit and talk in a monotone, or we could read something out of a book or whatever, and it would lack the luster of our fine personalities, right? But just like handwriting, when you read a handwritten from an old girlfriend or something, we used to do that pen pal thing. she put a little dab of lipstick and kissed the letter, maybe a little dot of that letter would have a lot of personality in it. So if you can do that in a podcast, you can convey that who you are and what you're trying to say through audio, then it would be very similar to writing a letter.
Okay, let me broaden.
Maybe not as good.
Let me broaden that question I posed about how can we make this podcast into a concept of letter writing. Are we going to be talking about letter writing every episode?
No, we can talk about various topics.
What you would otherwise write in a letter.
What we would otherwise put in a letter.
Yeah.
This letter that I wrote home to Mom and Daddy in 1971, you noticed I talked about the horses and I talked about Mama's job. And you talk about many things in the letter. Mm-hmm. And that's what we'll be doing. This is only.
And I don't think there's any shortage of ideas we can come up with to talk about for 30 minutes.
You get 3 Albrittons in a room, the conversation could go on forever.
Well,
end up in a fight or fracas of some sort. Yeah. Almost always.
Well, for here a period of time before they got to know me and fired me, I used to have a little radio program, and you guys were both involved with me on that.
It was your own show, and you fired yourself, or
no? They finally fired me. They sold the station to get rid of me. Okay. I was still left there, still talking when they shut and locked the front door. But people would often, I would invite somebody to come in for an interview, and they would say, "Well, how long do I have to talk?" I said, "Oh, about an hour." I said, "An hour? Yeah, I can't talk that long." And but everyone that we did, and I did quite a few of them, there was not one that we could get them to shut up. That's right. An hour wasn't enough because people, their favorite thing to talk about is themselves. And when you get somebody talking about themselves, they never want to shut up. They can go on and on. And that's what always happened. And it'll happen here too. We'll run out of time. We may be already out of time for that matter.
No, I'm watching it.
You're watching it? Okay.
Now, people that listen to this, that watch this, first off, our basic form here for this podcast is audio. That's what we started out thinking about doing as a podcast, an audio podcast, which is what a podcast is, audio. People can listen to it in their cars or when they're jogging or whatever. Now, we also said, well, if we're going to have a audio podcast, why can't we do a video component for that?
That's right.
And that's why we're doing this. We have a little video component of each audio podcast. Now, people that are listening or watching, the beauty of this concept, podcast in general, is that people can interact with us. Now, we can have a guest here with us, like Ava's today. We could have a guest come in and sit here and talk with us. But the mass beauty of the podcast medium and video is that people can interact on the internet. They can make comments. They can make criticism. They can write a letter. They can say, "Oh, you guys are terrible. Don't ever talk about that subject again," or whatever. Or
through the comments,
through the comments. Yeah, and then we can answer back in the next podcast or in a future podcast. We can say, Ms. Jones from Monterey, California wrote that she don't like the way your glasses look on your face. And so we can comment about that, do answers.
Yeah, but she couldn't reach out there and slap Lloyd for saying something that insulted her.
Right. She probably would have liked to.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
But she may never hear the response because once you insult her, she don't tune out. She ain't going to listen no more.
That's right.
So she'll never be able to get what the
satisfaction.
Answer.
Yeah. Can you get no?
I beg to differ on that because I've been doing bulletin boards and computer interactions and emails for 25 years. And when somebody writes something to you, whether it's negative or positive, they're going to pay attention to see what you say back.
Oh, okay.
They're going to be looking to see what you say back, whether they never read anything else or not. They want to see how you answered their comment.
Yeah, but there's a delay.
Oh yeah,
there's a delay, and I think that's where you're going. And I think you're fixing to go.
Cool down period, like buying a gun. You got that cool down period.
Yeah.
No gun talk.
Oh, we can't say the gun word.
Yeah, you can't say gun.
The YouTube would filter that out.
No, we're going to have one of our subjects is going to be about guns, eventually.
Okay. That's
dogs,
fine.
cats. What else was it we were going to talk about?
Well, we did talk about it. We've done 4. We've done 4 of
Don't
these
allude
as
to
a
those.
test already.
Those don't exist.
This,
don't
this
exist
is the
yet.
first one.
This is the first one.
Oh, this first one. Okay. Well, let's call it Back to the Future.
If you're going to talk about guns, you've got to get Ronnie on here as a guest because
Definitely.
He's probably got more gun knowledge than the guy with the YouTube videos. You know.
The only problem, Ronnie wouldn't let us talk.
I know it. You get a
But
great-
he'd be telling that about John Doe or whatever that story is about John. Your son John. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how it's going to work out, but we're hoping for at least some audience of friends. You said your Albritton Letters developed. You were mailing out to thousands.
Actually, at one point, I had probably over 10,000 people were visiting my Albritton Letters.
And then compared to the way a mass audience can develop very quickly on the internet, it's phenomenal.
Which is not a lot. Now, I see these guys today got millions
of followers.
of followers, and I don't know how they do that.
Well,
but
I have
you
to
know.
question the thousands of letters that you actually put a stamp on and sent letters, or is that
Oh,
by
it was
electronic
hundreds.
means?
It was hundreds, and probably never more than 100.
Oh,
How did you know you had 10,000 followers?
That was when I went on the internet. That was when I moved to New
wow.
York. I think you helped me get that. That
Right.
was with a website,
You had a website.
Yeah.
and I tracked it that way. So I had a tracker on it. It would tell me that was advanced when
that
I
wasn't actual paper letters. It was
No,
electronic.
No, I never mailed out probably no more than 100 letters. That was fairly exclusive.
Well,
but
we
that
wanna
was
thank,
the embryo of the
Yeah.
experiment.
We want to thank my brother Avis for joining us today. He may not be with us next time, but we have a subject that's
What do you know?
nothing like your ass.
Have I got cancer?
I'm talking about you may be back in the
What do you
Philippines.
know?
Oh.
But we're coming to the end of our episode time here, and I just wanted to thank you for being here.
Okay.
And of course, we're going to come back with another one and another one.
He's going to be here for a little while. He may be in our next.
We'll work him in.
Thursday.
Yeah. But like you said, if we talk about guns, now we don't have room for 4 here. We can make room for 4, I guess.
Trust me, we'd probably do better to leave Ronnie out. We could just call Ronnie and ask him if he was on the program, what would he want to say?
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, maybe we should, when we start thinking about subjects to talk about, aim those subjects at something that is of special interest to an individual person, so we can have them on to sit with us, talk about it.
Yeah. Well, now we're getting back to the interview. That's
No,
what.
wait, we're not interviewing him. We're just bringing him in to talk about something.
Okay, I called it interview.
To have some contribution to the conversation.
Yeah, contribution to the discussion. Well, thus that ends our episode for today, pretty much. So,
Okay. Well, you done did good, Phillip.
well,
And
I'm just
Avis
trying-
also did very well.
I'm trying to review our notes and cover everything, and convey the importance of letter writing, and to introduce our podcast, the Albritton Letters.
The first of hopefully many.
First of hopefully many. Yeah.
Yes, and bear in mind that these are not sponsors.
Well, Phillip, you might want to say a quick word. Phillip's logo here, the what's this called?
Our
The
production company is the Zombie Bunny Production.
Zombie Bunny, and I'm sure Phillip will have a funny little tune preceding this program.
Well,
I'm
once
sure you got that worked up.
when
for
you're
us.
watching the video, you'll see the Zombie Bunny at the beginning. But we're gonna involve the Zombie Bunny into depending on how popular we get, merchandising, put them on caps, T-shirts.
Try to tell somebody
Try to
something.
sell somebody.
I got to
something.
have me one of those. Are y'all selling those?
See, they're already. Avis
Avis
already
wants
want
to
one.
buy one.
You can't have one, Avis.
All right, say goodbye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Goodbye, y'all.